keep it on?
With a particular class and
Or you want me to
text,
text?
right?
No, no.
Yeah.
Isn't that a logical place?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the logical
Yeah,
place,
it's
right?
fine.
You agree or not?
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
fine.
that's
Just the
where all the
first time.
information should be.
Yeah,
You're going to recordings anyway.
yeah,
So then
exactly.
the text is there, collateral is there,
Audio is there.
audio is there, video is there, everything.
But you know, I was
No,
going to make a comment on this one.
Yeah.
Again, the website is getting really too much. It's not, and I'll sit with you and
Sure,
you know,
we
talk
need
to
the
you about
feedback.
what is needed because not everybody is, I get so
So
many.
this is the web page. Where is the class?
Where do you go for recordings, you tell me?
Oh,
Where do you go for recordings?
Most people don't go for the recording.
It's-
They just
No, they
just go to the web page and say where are my
say
classes.
classes,
Huh?
yes.
That's right. She's always right.
I was difficulties, I walked with somebody.
7 weeks old.
Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I said, he said, no, not you.
When it first page, there's access to the
Even
audio
in the
class.
class session, you don't have the.
No, here, audio class recording, right? So then, let's go, how do you go?
So
How do you
that's
go?
all that is.
Classes,
Huh?
classes.
You go with the classes.
Gajanan, did you go to India or
No,
not?
I was at our ashram for the weekend.
No, no.
Okay.
I'm going to go end of April for a few weeks, just like 3 weeks.
End of April.
Combine these things, and call it description only.
Yeah, it'll be too cold at this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I've been there, once I was there New Year's in Uttarakhand, and the problem,
okay, so, but,
it's,
see,
you know, we have places here that are much colder, the problem there's no insulation, so even if you put on a heater, the heat just goes out,
Yeah,
so it's very tough.
yeah.
But it's very quiet, a lot of sadhus like to be there then, because then they're much quieter, because many people aren't coming.
yeah.
Just
Yes, that would be fine. But do the classes, go from classes.
No, class.
Oh, so it's possible
But
I
under
might have already
classes, people will not go.
put it in here. That's strange.
Believe me, because that's what people are going through. Many people don't get it. No, I don't get it, but so I did it with them and I said, oh. But recording,
Problem, good.
So they want to use the recording. Okay, not to worry. I'll find a
because
way.
it's easy for us because we do.
That's fine. Good. I think I found, yeah, that's good.
Did it publish?
Well,
Did it publish? Oh, one person is, I can see one person there.
How does it look? That's the name of the person's shop? Yeah. See, that is,
But,
that's a
but the
list.
question is,
And the name,
Is that-
the name?
yes, the person in picture.
got it.
So if, but how to do that? Then he can see the person who is asking.
So the person, this is only the chat, right?
So what happens is when the person, the question
In the chat.
comes here,
Oh,
and
so
conversation comes out. Yeah,
So the name person.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
See the people behind him now. So he's the other person. That one
Can't
now.
tell, yeah. See, that's the difference with the other,
Because
other
that hotel is
tools.
much better. That hotel is much better,
Yeah.
but.
I know,
just
you
as-
started this thing, started
but-
this thing.
but it shows-
So because we are getting late, I'm sorry I messed this up. I'm going to go really quickly.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you don't have to follow me. I'm just going to do the puja.
Got it?
Om Mama Upakta Samastha Duritakshayatwara Shri Parameshwara Prithiyartham Vidya Siddhiyartham Cha Aham Idam Pujam Karishye Om Gajananam Bhutganadi Sevitam Kapit Jambu Sarabhalu Kapit Jambu Phalasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Panchakam Om Sumukhaya Namaha Om Ekadantaya Namaha Om Kapilaya Namaha Om Gajakarnakaya Namaha Om Lambodharaya Namaha Om Vignarajaya Namaha Om Vinayakaya Namaha Om Dhomuketave Namaha Om Ganadhakshaya Namaha Om Phalachandraya Namaha Om Gajananaya Namaha Om Bhaktatundaya Namaha Om Shurpakarnaya Namaha Om Herambhaya Namaha Om Skandapurvajaya Namaha Om Shri Siddhivinayaka Swamine Namaha ॐ स्फटिकरजतवर्णं मौक्तकीमक्षमालाम् अमृतकलशविद्यां ज्ञानमुद्रां कराग्रे ददतमुरककक्षं चन्द्रचूडं त्रिनेत्रं विद्युतविविधभूषं दक्षिणामूर्तमीडे ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रीदां वेदां प्रयं च स्वाहा ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा ॐ ओंकार सिंह सर्वेन्द्राय नमः ॐ ओंकारध्यानकोकिलाय नमः ॐ ओंकार नीलशुकराजे नमः ॐ ओंकारारण्यकुञ्जराय नमः ॐ नगराजसुताजानये नमः ॐ नगराजनिजालयाय नमः ॐ नवमाणिक्यमालाढ्याय नमः ॐ नवचन्द्रशिखामणये नमः ॐ नन्दितशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः ॐ नन्दीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः ॐ मोहनलसुधासाराय नमः ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः ॐ मोहोत्पलनभोमनये नमः ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः ॐ भक्तज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः ॐ भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः ॐ भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः ॐ गंगाधवलदिव्यांगाय नमः ॐ गंगापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः ॐ गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः ॐ वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरद्दिशाय नमः ॐ वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः ॐ वनवीरोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः ॐ तेजभुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः ॐ विनेयानां तेजप्रदाय नमः ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः ॐ नमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः ॐ दरिद्रधनशेवधये नमः ॐ क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः ॐ क्षीरेन्दुमुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः ॐ क्षीरोपहाररसिकाय नमः ॐ शिवप्राैश्वर्यफलप्रदाय नमः ॐ नानाभरणमुग्धांगाय नमः ॐ नारीसमोहनाकृतये नमः ॐ नागब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः ॐ नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः ॐ मूर्तिनन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः ॐ मूर्तामूर्तजगत्वपुषे नमः ॐ मूलज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः ॐ मूर्तिभत्कल्पपादपाय नमः ॐ तरुणादित्यसङ्काशाय नमः ॐ तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः ॐ तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः ॐ तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः ॐ तत्तुपुस्तोलसत्पाणये नमः ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः ॐ यमसंयुतसंयुत्ये नमः ॐ यमसंयुतसत्कीर्तये नमः ॐ यमसंयुमसंयुताय नमः ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः ॐ यतीन्द्रोपासविग्रहाय नमः ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः ॐ मन्दस्मितलसद्वक्त्राय नमः ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितजन्मुद्राय नमः ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः ॐ हंसजप्यक्षमालाढ्याय नमः ॐ हंसेद्वाराद्यपादुकाय नमः ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः ॐ मेघश्याममनोहराय नमः ॐ मेधाङ्कुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः ॐ मेधापक्वफलद्रुमाय नमः ॐ धार्मिकान्तर्भावासाय नमः ॐ धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः ॐ धामत्रयरजारामाय नमः ॐ धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः ॐ प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः ॐ प्रकाशितजगत्र्याय नमः ॐ प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः ॐ प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः ॐ ज्ञानात्तरभासात्मने नमः ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञातिविदूरगाय नमः ॐ ज्ञानज्ञात्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञातिकुलागताय नमः ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः ॐ प्रणतार्थब्धिवाडवाय नमः ॐ भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः ॐ प्रपञ्चहितकारकाय नमः ॐ यत्तत्त्वमिसंवेद्याय नमः ॐ यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय नमः ॐ यज्ञादिदेवतामूर्तये नमः ॐ यजमानवपुर्धराय नमः ॐ छत्राधिपतिविश्वेश्वाय नमः ओम चत्तसामर सेविताय नमः। ओम छंदशास्त्रादि निपुणाय नमः। ओम चलजात्यादि दूरगाय नमः। ओम स्वाभाविक सुखैकात्मने नमः। ओम स्वानुभूति रसोदतये नमः। ओम स्वराज्य संपदध्यक्षाय नमः। ओम स्वात्माराम महामतये नमः। ओम हाटकापचूटाय नमः। ओम हासोदस्तारि मंडलाय नमः। ओम हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ओम हार्दग्रंथि विमोचकाय नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम श्री दयानंद सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री महेशानंद सद्गुरुवे नमः। Okay, so shall we do meditation? प्रातर्स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यत्स्वप्नजागर सुषुप्तमवैति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसंगः। in Vedanta Shastra, there are several ways to look at one's life. The two most important ways are called Pratibimbavada and Avachinnavada. I learned to meditate both ways. Both are revealing of the truth about myself, and both can be utilized in our meditation. Today, let us see the Avachinnavada. Avachinnam means an enclosure. And an enclosure which is a seeming enclosure. It looks like an enclosure, so here we have seen the example of space being seemingly enclosed by the walls of a room. Another example of the seeming enclosure is a car space. In a car space, unlike the room space, is moving. In the Avachinnavada, Vada means a point of view, a way of explanation, and Avachinna means a seeming enclosure. The seeming enclosure is also called Upadhi. An upadhi technically is a broader term extending to more than an enclosure. A red flower sitting next to a crystal makes the crystal look red. So the red flower is an upadhi, not necessarily an enclosure. And without trying to make the crystal look red, it makes the crystal look red. Avachinna is also a kind of an upadhi. The walls of a room or the moving space of a car or a bus makes the space functional. So it acts as an upadhi apparently changing the nature of space. Shastra says, please see, that you, the Atma, which is formless, self-existing, never changing, appears to have a form through enclosures or upadhis. Maybe learn to meditate upon this. The enclosures, the avachinnas, are many and varied. Some are obvious, some more subtle. But they are all upadhis. The very obvious ones are the gross body, sthula sharira. The nature of the Atma is I am. Nature of isness, of presence, and I know. But I seemingly enclose myself as the body. I am 5 feet 7 inches. So in the conclusion, I am 5 foot 7 inches. The I am refers to the Atma. And the 5 foot 7 inches refers to the enclosure, avachinna. The word avachinna actually means enclosed. Seemingly enclosed. From there on out, the nature of the enclosure becomes more subtle. My mind, my thoughts should all be seen as upadhis. Subtle enclosures. I am sad. I feel excited. I am fearful. I am relieved. These are all subtle upadhis. Again, I am is the Atma. It is the same Atma. The same Atma which was used in the conclusion, I am 5 foot 7 inches. I am. It is the same Atma, same I, which is part of the conclusion, I am sad. But the nature of the enclosure or upadhi changes. This is what Ishvara's creation is all about. Where the Atma without undergoing any change whatsoever appears to be born through the upadhis, from the standpoint of the upadhi. And the upadhis, the enclosures, have different dharmas, different laws. Like the body, it has a shelf life of its own. How it grows, stops growing, and goes downhill. How the mind behaves in different ways. Even prana which imparts life to this individual is also an upadhi. It makes the Atma feel alive. The world around me is another upadhi. How it affects you, makes you feel differently from situation to situation. Another upadhi. In fact, the entire set of anatma, any sense of experiences, is nothing but an upadhi. The I, the Atma, the conscious being, is anavachinna. Anavachinna means it cannot be enclosed. like space, can never be enclosed. But it is possible for it to be apparently enclosed. This is the beauty of Ishvara's Srishti, Ishvara's creation. I meditate upon this fact. And gradually, as I see the truth about this, I relax. I transition from the conclusion that I am enclosed to the conclusion I am seemingly enclosed, to the conclusion I am not enclosed at all. This is one way the Shastra encourages us to view myself as anavachinna and avachinna. This is called avachinnavada. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Gukarastvandakaro Vai Gukarastvannivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So let's do this as we transition to the new chapter called Vaithatya Prakaranam. We leave the Agama Prakaranam. Agama means the Vedas, the Upanishad. And to mark that, let us chant the entire Mandukya Upanishad as a way of remembering that the entire Karika is referring to the Mandukya Upanishad, even though we are now going to go independently. And so the Mandukya will not reappear in our teaching. But we should remember it, keep that in mind. So let's just, if you can follow me, we'll chant all the 12 verses of the Mandukya. Om ityetadakshara idagum sarvam. Om ityetadakshara idagum sarvam. Tasya upavyakhyanam. Bhutam bhavat bhavishyatiti. Sarvam omkara eva. Yacchanyattrikalatitam. Tadapyonkara eva. Sarvagum hi etat brahma. Ayamatma brahma. Soyamatma chatushpat. Jagritasthano bahishpragyaha. Saptanga ekona vimshati mukhaha. Saptanga ekona vimshati mukhaha. Sthula bhuk vaishvanaraha pratama padaha. Sthula bhuk vaishvanaraha pratama padaha. Swapnasthanontah pragyaha. Saptanga ekona vimshati mukhaha. Pravivikta bhuktajaso dvitiya padaha. Pravivikta bhuktajaso dvitiya padaha. Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate. Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate. Na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam. Na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam. Sushupta sthana eki bhutaha. Pragyana ghanaha eva nandamayaha. Eva anandamayaha. Hya ananda bhukcheto mukha pragyah tritiya padaha. Hya ananda bhukcheto mukha pragyah tritiya padaha. Esha sarveshwaraha. Esha sarvagyaha. Esha antaryami. Esha yonihi. Sarvasya prabhavapyayau hi bhutanam. Prabhavapyayau hi bhutanam. Na antah pragyam na bahish pragyam. Na ubhayatah pragyam na pragyanaganam. Na pragyam na pragyam. Adrishtam apyavaharyam. Agrahyam alakshanam. Achintyam avyapadeshyam. Ekatma pratyayasaram. Prapanchopashamam shantam. Shivam advaitam chaturtham. Manyante sa atma sa vigneyaha. Soyamatma dhyaksharam. Omkarodhimatram. Pada matra matrascha pada. Matra akara ukaro makara iti. Akaro ukaro makara iti. जागृतस्थानो वैश्वानरः
जागृतस्थानो वैश्वानरः
अकारः प्रथमा मात्रा आप्तेरादिमत्वात्
आप्तेरादिमत्वात्
आप्नोति ह वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवति य एवं वेद स्वप्नस्थानस्तैजसः उकारो द्वितीया मात्रा उत्कर्षात् उभयत्वात् वा उत्कर्षति ह वै ज्ञानसन्ततिं समानश्च भवति ज्ञानसन्ततिं च समानश्च भवति न अस्य अब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति य एवं वेद सुषुप्तस्थानः प्राज्ञः मकारस्तृतीया मात्रा मितेरपीतेर्वा मिनोति ह वा इदगुं सर्वम् अपीतिश्च भवति य एवं वेद अमात्रश्चतुर्थो व्यवहार्यः प्रपंच उपशमः शिवः अद्वैतम् एवं ओंकार आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मना आत्मानं य एवं वेद Okay, so then following the Mandukya, so we had 29 verses of the Gaudapada Karika, and those 29 verses plus the Mandukya comprises the Agama Prakaranam. So Prakaranam means a section or a chapter of this 4-chapter book. And so the first chapter is called Agama Prakarana. And it's called Agama Prakarana because the Karika also simply explains what the Upanishad is telling us. So it is purely devoted to what the Upanishad is telling us. So as I mentioned in the end of the last class, there are 3 very important aspects of convincing myself that I am not this limited body-mind. It's not an easy thing to do because I've made this conclusion ever since I was born. That's how my life is. That's how everybody's life is. So should be not an easy conclusion to reverse. And yet this conclusion needs to be reversed because it is not the truth. Not the truth. So the Shastra knows this, and it says I need to help the person convince the non-truth about this conclusion that you are a limited being. I'm a sukhi dukhi, I'm a samsari. Not a valid conclusion. It's how the Ishvara's creation is. You start with the Anadi Maya, and then means that it's not as though you became, it's not possible to become a jnani, not knowledgeable. You always have been a jnani. But it's possible to become jnani. So this conclusion is not easy to reverse. The Shastra knows it. So the Shastra says that you please examine yourself from several viewpoints. And I gave that example. I think I was very impressed by when Swami Maheshananji pointed this out. That when you see a fruit, your eyes say that this looks like a pear or an apple, whatever. But you're not totally convinced because it could be a false stone apple. It may not be the real apple. So in order to ascertain that this is a real apple, you have to employ some other methods, either a touch, or the most definitive one would be smelling it. And then you find, yes, this is an apple. So similarly, the Agama Prakaranam is one view of yourself. It is the correct view. It's not as though it is not correct. This is what is called Shruti. So the Shruti's view is the correct view. But it can be seen, it can be viewed as an incomplete component of my conclusion. Because I don't see any one of you walking out after the Upanishad is complete and saying, thank you for showing me this vision. I am done. I am not coming to this class anymore. Now all I need to do is to meditate, and in fact I am leaving my family also. This would be the conclusion. You're not doing that. You're all sitting there saying, okay, that chapter is over, what's next? This is the situation. So really speaking, our life should be to convince ourselves, because each one of us has to be convinced. The fact that you are basically unlimited and Ishvara knows it and the Shastra also knows it doesn't really matter. This is exactly as the Gita's a very beautiful analysis about Gita, where Arjuna was one of the most close friends of Sri Krishna. They grew up together. And so if Krishna were to say, Arjuna, you are so close to me, let me put my hand on you and you are done. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because there are still doubts and explanations and so on. He has to be convinced. Similarly is our case. So now another way of looking at ourselves is started, and this is called Vaithatya Prakaranam. And Vaithatya Prakaranam is primarily devoted to logic. The Upanishad is not devoted to logic. It's actually very logical once you see it, but it doesn't rely on your logic. We will go into this logic thing in great detail. It's so beautiful how it is presented. But the Agama simply says, this is the way it is. See it this way, that you are the Turiya and you take on different forms. Please see it for yourself. And it's the truth. It's the truth. But there is no, you cannot arrive at it through logic. Once the Shruti says it, it seems very logical. What seems very logical is that really an actor is not permanently changed by a role. It appears to take on a role and yet it acts like a role, but then once the role is finished, it goes back to the original one. It seems very logical. This is the way it should be. And so this is what Agama is pointing out. But even though some inroads in my thinking have come about, my thoughts are still very much, really? Am I just acting as a dreamer and in a real life? I'm acting. It doesn't appear to be like this. It appears to be me. And then you find that I am the one who is sick, I am the one who is dying, I am the one who is born. The children are, so the whole thing is not totally convinced about it. So now another method is being presented which is called Vaithatya Prakaranam. The Vaithatya Prakaranam is devoted to logic, what is called Yukti, as opposed to Shruti. So we will now begin with that. Okay. So let's look at the very first verse. I think you should have a copy of that somewhere. I think Raj and Neera had sent this to you. So let's just pronounce the first verse. Vaithatyam sarvabhavanam
Vaithatyam sarvabhavanam
swapna ahuhu manishinaha
swapna ahu manishinaha
antasthanatu bhavanam
antasthānātu bhāvanam
samvritattvena hetuna.
samvrtatvena hetuna.
So let us look at the word meaning of this. Where is my copy? I think it's in here. Just a second. Just 1 minute. I'll just follow Swami Paramarthananda's translation. So Manishinaha Ahuhu. Yeah. Oh, so this was sent to you on for the as a PDF for you to do. So
No.
this is the old one.
That's the old one.
That's the old one. So the new one, you should have had a copy in on the website. Yeah, you go to the website and then under text. I think it's under text, isn't it?
No.
It was very difficult to find
Class recordings, that's the, we talked about it, it's
Yeah.
gonna be clean up, but
Well, let's give the exact, so here's what, you go to class recording.
Class recordings are right.
we
Audio
did,
class.
but
It's not there. It's,
we couldn't find
she,
it.
she printed it out too, so.
Yeah, but that was what which you printed for me too, but that's the Agama.
That was book 2.
No,
It's not easy.
it's not intuitive, it's,
Hang on, okay, I'll improve the possibility, but let me just show you quickly. So everybody knows what the class recordings are, right? You guys look at
Yeah.
these?
yeah.
Go in there.
So when you go to the Mandukya class, so that's important, when you look at playlist. Now there are 3 tabs in there, okay? One is audio tab, one is video tab, and the other one is called text. So this is where all the collateral will be. Okay, so I'm
so
Mandukya.
under class recordings.
Class recordings, then go to Mandukya class playlist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mandukya class playlist. When you go to Mandukya class playlist, on the top of that there are 3 tabs: audio, video, and text. So you click on the text, and there will be book 1 and book 2. Is that right?
Yeah. So then there-
All 4 books are there.
4 books are now there, yeah.
So all 4 books are there.
And, huh?
Of the Karika,
I'm sorry, what was your question?
4 tabs are, the 4 chapters are the 4 chapters of the Karika.
3
Yes.
tabs, audio, video, and text.
Yes.
Now, under the text,
Right,
there is a bunch of list of all the collaterals.
right.
And in this case, there are, there's Mandukya verses is there, there's Karika is there, then Mandukya book 1, Mandukya book 2, Mandukya book 3 and 4. So all the PDFs are there. So you just click on that and.
Mandukya book 3 is book 2 is the second chapter?
Yeah.
If you already have the Karika, then you don't need to print them.
No, the Karika is for the
Send a nice
first part.
email to him.
Agama.
Okay.
So now, this is because that's a different type of text. this particular is Swami Paramathananda's, right? That's
Oh,
what
I
we follow.
see, okay.
So this is Swami Paramathananda book 2.
This
Yeah.
one would
That's what
have
we're following.
main verses and then the karika.
Yeah, this is a good one to follow because it has the word meanings also.
Yeah.
Huh? So I think just
Do we
to,
have books like these? These books?
No,
No, we don't.
that's why we put it PDF, so everybody can print it out. We don't
Yeah.
have that.
so these
They didn't
books
have
were
it.
available even earlier, not this one, but the one that has the translation. But this is better
This is
because,
much
Yeah.
better.
Correct. Yeah.
so what we might do is just send everybody a copy on the
They need to
email.
get practice with this. They need to try one
Yeah,
more
because
time.
that's true.
Because we're gonna do it across all the
Because
classes.
everything we are putting in the
Sure. Sure, absolutely.
If you can't figure it
It's
out,
important that you
tough
guys
luck.
Follow the format.
Yeah, I think
Across all the
we
classes.
will learn, so.
Raj is very tough on me. I just say, just do it. He says, no. Everybody should learn how to do this.
Yeah, because
But,
we're
but the
gonna do
thing
more and more
is,
complex things,
everything
right? So
what
you
we
have to
do on the
Yeah.
website, and most of the time, people, I mean, for simple reason of registering and things like that is disabled, right? So it's just a
You can
learning.
understand this gross, I mean, this is gross, okay? It's not
Seems to be
subtle.
tougher than the Mandukya Upanishad.
But make it little easier.
No, that's fine, that is absolutely my problem. Okay, just give me feedback as to, you guys have given me today
Exactly.
some feedback,
Exactly.
I will change.
People don't
But
have
this
to
will be
go
the
through
format.
too
In
many
the
tabs.
playlist, there'll be audio, video and text.
Just play with
That's
it
where
for
it
a
should
few
go.
minutes, you'll hear it.
Okay, all right.
Did you find it, Shobha?
I'm trying, I'm struggling still.
So sit with.
Okay, so you can just, you don't, even if you don't have it, I'll just explain, we're only going to do a couple of verses. So it says, Vaithatyam sarva bhavanam swapna ahuhu manishinaha antasthanatu bhavanam samvritatvena hetuna is the verse. So Vaithatyam is the common jati naam for vitatha. Vitatha means not true, false. So Vaithatyam means falseness. So here it is important to see the falseness of things, not that a particular thing is false. See, that's why it is Vaithatyam, it is not Vitatha. Vaithatyam means that how do you tell something which is false? That's the nature of the Vaithatyam. So Vaithatyam ahuhu manishinaha. So manishinaha means, Manish means someone that has viveka, wisdom that comes from viveka, from an understanding subtleties of things. Like for example, seeing the viveka between a stone, a stone apple and a real apple, who's not fooled by it. Like that. I was telling you that just recently when we just came from India, and so we stayed in a couple of hotels in Indore, and they had very beautiful decoration of different plants and so on. And depending on the type of hotel that you're in, these can be artificial flowers. Or it can be the real flower. And sure enough, what you do is you just touch it. And if it is cool, and then you say, oh, this is a real one, they can afford it. So a manishinaha. See, so for example, just look at this. Supposing you are a child being held in your hand, in your arms, a year-old child. The year-old child is not going to make any difference. Is it real or is it not real? You look at something and you say, what is it? And he'll say it's a plant. Whether it's a real plant or not an unreal plant, you cannot tell the difference. And so a manishi, I'm just telling you the explanation of Swami Maheshananji's. is what is called pramana kushalaha. Pramana kushalaha. How do you examine this so that it comes out truthful or untruthful? You can divide it between one or the other. Pramana kushalaha. Like, for example, the most important example of pramana kushalaha is your eyes. Your eyes, when you say, I think that person was there. No, I don't think it was there. And the person says, I saw that person with my own eyes. So the eyes are a dependable pramana kushalaha. But for only seeing things. It just says, hey, I see something. That's all. Yes, I did see it for sure. Even hearing sometimes is not as good, but seeing is a very important thing. So a manishinaha means one who is skilled in doing viveka. This is the explanation for manishinaha. What do the manishinaha say? Ahuhu means they say this, they declare this, that in the dream, in swapne, in dream, all objects, because they are situated within the body, are false. Within anything which is within the body is false. So here the question is, wait a second, that's not a foolproof hetu. Hetu means a reason. A reliable reason is called hetu. What is the sense of it? So you say that anything which is inside is not false. So when you have some fruits inside, or you have some rice inside a pan, that doesn't mean that it is false. Here the word sambrittatvena comes in. Sambrittatvena means because the size for the things that are inside is not possible. You see an elephant in this, there is no space for an elephant inside the body. So this is the sense of the verse. So let's just complete the verse. It says, Vaithatyam sarva bhavanam. Everything in a dream, ahuhu manishinaha, is vaithatyam. So everything in a dream is false. Why? Because antasthanat, because it is inside the body. And not only is it inside the body, it cannot be contained within the body. There's no way that you can see these elephants and lions and people and roads and so on and so forth within the body. But yet you see it. So what you see is not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. This will be discussed in great length. Because people will say, how can this world be false? Because I see it. This will be discussed. Just because you see something doesn't mean that it is real. You see a lot of things in your dream. And in fact, the dream is a very important thing because it affects you very close to, if not exactly the same as a reality. You sweat if you are really that scared, and you are affected by it. Just recently I was visiting my family in New Delhi, and my sister was telling me her husband has Parkinson's, rather advanced Parkinson's, and the poor guy is, his mind is okay for the time being, but his body shakes and his speech is slurred and all those kinds of things. And she was telling me his most intolerable experience is his nightmares at night time. Is there some way to and if you take sleeping pills, that doesn't really help, because that makes you sleep. This is a very interesting thing. Your nightmares. So nightmares mean the unprocessed thinking from your life. Because you had aspirations, you had desires, you had regrets, and they were not fulfilled. Because you were not adequately equipped to process fears. Only finally, when you study Vedanta, then you begin to say, whatever, I don't care, I'm okay. And so you are able to intelligently process vasanas. But most of the people are not able to do this. And I had a discussion with this, and I didn't want to tell all this to them. I just kept saying, I'm very sorry to hear that, and I don't know what to say, and this, that, or the other. I cannot teach Vedanta to them at this point in time. But this is the situation. So what I'm saying is that the dream is a very important aspect of the experience in our Shastra. No one really uses this in the spiritual teaching as a dream does. And why? Because the effect it has on you is, in fact, in the case of my brother-in-law, it's even worse. He wants not to even go to sleep. He wants to be awake. But he has to go to sleep. And at the moment he goes to sleep, he has all these unprocessed things that come up as nightmares. So really what it means is, just because you see something and you experience something doesn't mean it is true. See, this is the kind of logic that Vaithatyam Prakaranam is now going to use. Basic Agama is now done, and it will combine them. But in the meantime, the emphasis now is on logic. That just because you see it, it is not true. Just because in the swapna you don't have enough space. So so whatever you saw was some very strange thing, really. Amazing. So that's the meaning of this. So many beautiful things. It is just just follow the importance of logic here. And I think that the explanation by Swami Maheshananji. Now he has done. There was one book for the first one. Now this is the second book for the next three. And I first studied this in 2011, July 8, 2011. And so wonderful that, so very nicely done. Anyway, I'll go through that as much as possible. So this is the first verse. Then some of the common things I will point out after I do the second verse. So let's do the second verse also. And perhaps even the third one. We'll all three of them. Second verse. Adhirgatvat kalasya pradirgatvat kalasya gatva deshan pashyati pratibuddhascha vaisarvaha tasmin deshena vidyate. So here it says that leave aside the fact that you could not have contained all the things that you see in your dream within your body. Okay? Now, there are some people Swami Maheshanji points this out. He says there are some people who believe that you actually went there. So supposing you saw a picture of Ganga, and then you were in, you were in this Kumbh Mela, and they say that it is very possible that as a dreamer you actually went there. So this one removes that doubt. He says you may have gone there possibly. Actually you didn't. But if you think you've gone there, you have not had enough time to go there and come back. Because to go to Kumbh Mela takes 3 days, and you finish everything in 5 minutes. How is that possible? So now the second verse is to talk about the time element. So he says, adhirgatvacha kalasya. Because of the shortness of time, one cannot see the places by going there. Na pashyati deshan gatva. Why? Adhirgatva kalasya. And pratibuddhaha yas sarva vai vidyate tasmin deshe. And in fact, after you wake up, it's not as though, supposing you actually go there. As there are some, it's very possible somebody will say, no, Ishvara can make you go there. It's possible. What if your dream gets interrupted and you end up being in that place? You've been in that place. It doesn't happen. Whether your dream is interrupted, not interrupted, whatever it is, you wake up in the same place. Same side of the bed, you are just sweating there, whatever it is. So this is about the time. Okay, this is the second verse. Adhirgatvacha kalasya means, dirgha means adequate time. There is no adequate time. There is no adequate place and there is no adequate time. And you cannot, having gone there, you cannot, pratibuddhascha means when you wake up, tasmin deshe eva vidyate. In the same place you wake up. Let's go to the third verse and then I will do some common thing from all of them. Number 3. Abhavascha rathadinam shruyate nyayapurvakam vaithatyam tena vaipraptam swapna ahu prakashitam. So here this verse points out that in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, as in elsewhere, in fact, if I can just interrupt this for a minute, just to point out so I don't forget it, the Gaudapada Karika, even though it is explaining Mandukya Upanishad, the Karika relies on the explanations of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Swami Maheshanji pointed this out. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad means it's one of the biggest Upanishads. Just a huge one. I've hardly got through only once. It took me like 2 years to do, about 7-8 years ago. Huge Upanishad, and has a lot of topics inside of that. So, amazingly enough, Mandukya itself is not used for explaining Mandukya. Brihadaranyaka is used for it. And this is, number 3, comes from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It says that there are no chariots in the dream. There are no, because there is you have a dream that you are going in a chariot. There is no chariot driver. Nothing. So the Rathadinam, Shruyate. Shruyate means it is given in the Shruti, in the Vedas itself. He says it doesn't happen. It says that you see a number of things, amazing number of things, but it does not happen. Therefore, it is Vaithatyam. So let's just look at all of them. Cha abhavaha. Moreover, there is the absence of rathadinam, chariots, etc. It is heard in the Upanishad. Nyaya purvakam. With logic. Not just say, just take it from me. No. Because all three things have to be looked at. What the Shruti is saying, what is the yukti, and your own anubhava. You should see what you should see. The anubhava here is very important. Anubhava means, ultimately this is what it means is, that even though you experience something as though it is real, it is not real. Isn't it? This is why the dream is very important in the annals of thinking. So that is an anubhava. So anyway, nyaya purvaka means with the full supporting logic. Tena vai ahuhu vaithatyam swapne praptam prakashitam. Prakashitam means that it is shown in the Upanishad. It is lighted up in the Upanishad. So these are the three verses. Now let us look at the important conclusions from here. Okay. The first thing we should study is what is the need for Shruti? Can't we figure it out ourselves? This is an important thing to see. So the yukti by itself should be sufficient. Because the yukti says, listen, your dream, even though it appears, is not true. Therefore, that should be enough. We should be able to figure it out and say, oh my God, that's absolutely right. And somebody can write a book on this, that this is it is, and so on and so forth. What is the reason for Shruti? If yukti itself is sufficient, as you say it is, it should be yukti. No. And in fact, you cannot begin with yukti. You have to begin with Shruti and then go to yukti later on. Why? The reason is, there's some technical words here and I have to simplify it for ourselves. Here there are two words used in Sanskritam. One is called anugrahya and one is anugrahaka. Okay, so those are words, and if you want to investigate that, you can do that. The reason is, anugrahaka by itself means guess. Guesswork is called anugrahaka. Anugrahya is logic in support of what is the truth. Here Swami Maheswaranji gives a very beautiful example. He says, this is very typical. And we are from India, we are known to it. So you appear in these exams, very tough exams. And the exams always have a variety of questions that are asked for you. And now what happens is the way we study in India, there's no, I don't know, things may have changed, but you don't have, periodic exams. Everything is done at the end of the year. So typically what we used to say is you just do nothing for about 8-9 months. In the last 2-3 months you start cramming. You start cramming. Now you cannot cram 200 answers, 200 questions, because, so you know what you do? There are people who will say, Here are the 30 ones that are likely to come. And you buy those advisory books because they do some logic they use that this has been happening again and again, so this question will come. But it is purely guess. They don't know the truth about it. This is called guess. And so usually they are wrong. You pay 30 rupees or 50 rupees to get that, just because you're flailing. Any help I can get to estimate which one should I study. That's the one I should do Ghota Rab. But then it comes out wrong and you say, oh my God, stupid fool, why did I do this? I wasted my money and I was unprepared for these other questions and so on. I remember when I was appearing for UPSC exam, and just on the side, and so there is a viva voce. There is actually an oral exam after you do it, and I successfully did that. And there's like 4 people were sitting there, and they asked me some typical questions. One question I had rehearsed it ahead of time because I had also done the same thing. I had looked at these guesses and so on. And that question was, why are manholes round? You probably know the answer to that, right? Because if you have a square manhole, then there is a chance that the square manhole can drop into it by mistake, because there is enough, diagonally it is larger than that. That does not happen in a round manhole. You cannot drop it by mistake. Supposing these persons are doing something and somebody just slips it, you don't lose it. This is why all the manholes are round. And this I had read before. Okay? Then they asked me a question that I had never really seen before, and I flunked that one. So let me tell you about that also. Okay? That question was, suppose you are in the middle of a lake. This is an engineering question, because it was an engineering exam. Suppose you are in a lake, in the middle of a lake, and you are fully clothed. This is also important as part of the question. Okay? And this lake is extremely smooth. And from an engineering standpoint, it means the coefficient of friction is 0. What that means is you cannot push yourself. So the question is that you are in the middle of the lake and you want to now come to the end. Okay? How will you do it? And so my first answer was, I'll just push my hand on the ice. No, because the ice has a 0 coefficient of friction, means that it is completely slipping. You cannot grip it. Cannot grip it at all. So he says, no, that's not an adequate answer. So then I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. The answer is, you take off your jacket and you throw it in one direction. And because the coefficient of friction is 0, your whole body will go in the other direction. This is the answer. And I didn't get it, but still somehow they passed me. I remember, it's interesting. Somehow, any small insults one doesn't forget. So then, the other guy was saying, okay, you didn't get the answer to that. So they were now saying, what should we ask him the next? And I heard one of them said, I don't think he'll get it. And I overheard that. I tell you, that has stayed with me for the last 50 years. Even though they were right, I probably would not have gotten it. But they were whispering to each other, no, let's not ask him this question at all. Anyway, going back to why logic has to follow Shruti. why yukti cannot precede. The reason is that yukti, without a very clear explanation of what it's leading up to you, is guesswork. And guesswork means you're not convinced. It could be right, it could be wrong. Okay, now let's go to the next. This is a very important step to see. Okay, please also listen to this very carefully. Following this Vaithatyam, why Vaithatyam is following the Shruti. Why it is Agama Prakaranam and then Vaithatya Prakaranam. This means the nature of asatyam, Vaithatyam. Vaithatyam and asatyam are the same. This means falsity, falsehood. Falsehood. The nature of falsehood. The nature of falsehood is relevance to truth. There is no sense in saying false. When you say something is false, the question is false with respect to what? And in this manner, this is a very well researched and well communicated for the last hundreds of years. This is the reason we say the Buddhist philosophy is wrong. Because the Buddhists simply say Vaithatyam. They also use the same word. The whole world is Vaithatyam. But they don't say with respect to what is it Vaithatyam. This is an amazing thing. In fact, Swami Maheswaranji pointed this out. In Hindi he says, ऐसा नहीं समझ लेना कि संसार के सभी शास्त्रों की युक्तियों की एक जैसी होती है. He says, don't think that all the logic that everybody uses. He says the Western logic has its own way, Eastern logic is its own way. And the essence of that is the nature of asatyam. The nature. So for example, when you say that something is false, that means within the realm of the experience, it is false. So supposing somebody says that, I give you $100 the other day, well, give it back to me. It's false. Because the guy never gave it to you. I never gave him $100. And he didn't give me $100. So he's just speaking that, another thing is, for example, Swami Maheswaranji pointed out, he says, there are people in India who, this is what is called a shopkeeper's Vedanta. She calls shopkeeper's Vedanta. They'll go to a temple and they go to maybe a guru and say, you know what, you are right. The whole samsara is false, isn't it? They say, yeah, you're right, you got it. Whole samsara is false. So therefore, I'm not going to pay my taxes. I'm not going to pay my taxes. Oh, why aren't you paying your taxes? Because the whole thing is false anyway, What difference does it make? So why should I pay taxes? There's no reality to it. Didn't you tell me that? It is called shopkeepers Vedanta. So the question is falsity with respect to what? So therefore, you have to understand Satyam before you can understand Asatyam. And believe it or not, Buddhists do not agree with this. They don't agree with it. They said you keep on meditating, this is Asatyam, 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 and see, you can see that there is a some consciousness. You're just completely thoughtless, and then just becomes. You can see how it just disappears. You see this? This is Vaitatyam. But the study and the explanation of what this awareness means is missing. In fact, asatyam only becomes asatyam if satyam is completely known. Otherwise, what will happen is that it will come back again. Come back again. There was one enunciation here, I think the other day, one of the students had said that I think if we just simply, this is why we say that if you simply say, I am Sakshi, I am the witness, you will reach that. No, absolutely not. Just by saying, I am Sakshi, for a while, yes, I am Sakshi, which is true, that I am the Sakshi. But it doesn't lead to freedom at all. Why not? Because the implication of the Sakshitvam has to be understood. Implication of Sakshitvam. For example, you have to see that the Sakshi must be Swayam Jyotihi. It must be Swayam Siddha. It should be Ajaha. It should never be born. Do you understand that? No, I don't understand that. I just think I'm a Sakshi. Okay. Keep on repeating, you're a Sakshi, nothing will happen. So what it means is that the Satyam must be completely understood. And this is what is called in verse number 3. This is what it is called Nyaya Purvakam. Abhavascha rathadinam shruyate Nyaya Purvakam. Means that it has to be fully explained. Only then you will see, oh, I see. So the swapna is false with respect to Jagrata Avastha. Otherwise it affects you, frightens the heck out of you. But then you say it's very interesting that it can frighten me, but it's not false. It is false. So the asatyam is an important aspect of understanding. This is why this is what is called anugrahaka. This is a very technical thing. I don't have time to, even I completely have not studied that aspect of it, but he has made a very good point that Vaithatyam cannot be anugrahaka. Anugrahaka means that it explains by itself without any relationship to Satyam. No, it has to be anugrahyam. Means that it must follow a complete explanation of what Satyam is. That is the nature of Vaithatyam, and this is what we will study. Let's see if there was a couple of points that I wanted to make. Have I made everything? Yeah, I think there are a couple of, maybe I can just quickly make it, and then another point that I did not get a chance to point out. Okay. This is a very technical analysis because it is logic here. So now the logic means that it has to be technically done. So Swami Maheswaranji points out that if there are two views that are conflicting with each other, then in all likelihood, one of the views is false. And the reason why this is the case is that one of the views one of the views is very technical. Again, it is what is called Pramana-antaram visamvadaha and Pramana-antara samvadaha. This is the thing. So he says that suppose there are two views and they are conflicting with each other. Then the question is, one of them is false. And the falsity has to be explained. And the truth also has to be explained with a logic. So typically here the example is that of taking a rope to be a snake. So one view is that this is a rope. Another view is this is a snake. Same vastu, two different explanations. Both cannot be true because they are completely different. A rope is a jada vastu, and a snake is a chaitanya vastu. It can bite you, it can hurt you, whereas a rope cannot hurt you. It's just sitting there. There are completely different aspects of it. So there are two views. The question is, if that's the case, which view should we take? And there you have to go with supporting logic. Supporting logic is, hey, this rope was there, I put it there yesterday, and this room is locked. No one else could have removed it and put a snake instead because it was locked. Or some explanation like this. So it has a complete supporting logic to prove. And when I bought this rope from some shop nearby, and I put it there is a purpose for it. This is all supporting logic. And if you say this is a snake, you have to say, where did it come from? Who is the mother of the snake? What is the color of the snake? How did it come about? You cannot do that. So therefore, when there are two conflicting views of the same thing, therefore we have to go with supporting logic of one or the other to prove it. Here's our situation. One view is that I am a sukhi dukhi, I am a samsari. One view is that I am not. One of these views is false. Which view should we follow? The view we should follow is where the supporting logic is well thought through. It perseveres, it inheres. And the other view is that it just frightens the heck out of me. Kind of like these kids, when they want to play a joke on their parents, they will get these rubber scorpions and put them in their bed. And so the fact that I am really scared the heck out of this scorpion in my bed is very true, but it is untrue. Why? Because how the scorpion got in, and because the children will say, I didn't put it in, it must have come in from some place. No. So therefore, in the analysis of samsara, we have to look at supporting logic. And that is an important part of the logic, which we will rely upon. So this is a very interesting thing because at first you establish the rules of the game as far as logic goes by looking at the dream. And you make that as an example, and then from there you expand the understanding to the Jagrata Avastha. And then we will see that how, even though it appears to be different, it is basically the same. So this is how the logic will proceed. We will go ahead with it. Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha
को ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम
Yeah.
So when you said that swapna is false with regards to the Jagrat avastha, that's only like karma, right? And then we have to prove that the Jagrat avastha itself is false.
Yes,
Right? Okay,
yes,
so yes.
yeah. It's a gradual process, yeah. Both are equally false, but with different gunas. One lasts for a long time, and so on and so forth. The other one doesn't. But it will be proven that those differences are immaterial. That's the manishina. That's where your discrimination comes in. Yeah, Rani?
So my question is, I have a bit of confusion when you explained that dream, what you see in a dream or a nightmare, like maybe you went to a park and you see elephants or something like that, that's not true because it can't be contained within. I'm not sure if I understood that correctly. I mean, even in real life, if you were to see an elephant in Jagrata avastha, it's not going to be contained within you.
Yeah, but then you're moving ahead. That will be a different. That's a different proof. That's a different proof. We will see that. Ultimately, you will see even that is contained within.
What does contained within mean? I mean, like if you are in a dream state in this.
Yeah. So what I would say at this point in time is you're going into an area that we haven't done yet. We'll go into all of that.
But even in the dream,
in the dream state, it is very clear that even though your dream was apparently outside of you, it was not outside of you. That's all. It is really within you. Yeah. And then the extension to the Jagrata avastha will come later. But right now, let us just confine ourselves to the complete understanding of the Swapna avastha.
So question on the chat.
Yeah.
Arvind had a question. Can avachina be understood as inseparable as discussed during meditation?
It be understood as inseparable. Inseparable? No, there is no separation involved. The dream will be unaffected, not inseparable. That's nothing to do with the separation. Would be like, two things that are combined together. It's not like that. It just means that even though it appears to be affected, it is not. Even though the room space is constraining the space, it is not constraining the space. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Can't handle cold.
You take that one too.
Yeah.
Because that's coming later.
Yeah, what he's showing.
send you to look for recording. So that's what you're looking for, the recording. Then come up.